Greetings, everybody. David Avocado Wolf here. We've got a very important show coming up on October 23rd. That is a Thursday at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. It's one you want to be a part of. It's going to be 9 a.m. for those of you on the West Coast, the best coast, as they say. And this is about a very encroaching issue, which is Big Brother isn't just watching you, they're creating a profile on you. So they are feeding that profile into AI. I've got Glenn and Eric Meter who are going to be hosting that Privacy Academy special edition show, which is going to be coming up again on October 23rd, Thursday. Glenn and Eric, how you doing?
Great. Great. Thank you for having us.
Okay, great. Let's just real quickly summarize what the issue is that we're facing today with our privacy, our digital privacy.
Yeah. So I think this is the issue. This is the issue of our time. We are moving into a control grid. They have built this control grid around us, and it is very sophisticated, and it is globally coordinated, and it's not only globally coordinated by countries, but by states, by local communities. They're putting these pieces together. They've really got all of the pieces together. Now they've got to just get us to accept it. And that's what they're doing now. We can see in England that it's not just England, it's England, it's Sweden, it's Switzerland. September, they flipped the switch on a lot of these countries. They said, okay, we're doing digital ID right now. We've been talking about this for years and years, and now they're doing it. And the digital ID is very, very serious. I can't express how serious this issue is. We have to stop this, but we also have to take the steps individually to stop it. We have to get our own act in order, our own house in order, so that we can live without the surveillance grid watching our every move, because they want to crush freedom of speech. That's the goal with digital ID. As soon as they can crush freedom of speech, then they can move on with their other plans, and they can move on with CBDC, all of this stuff. But this is really the anchor point that they're using to move forward with these plans. So it's very important that people understand that everything else going on in the world is this illusionist distraction thing, while they're doing this control grid behind the scenes, and they don't want you really thinking about this. And what they want is just, they want you to wake up one day and you're enslaved to this new control system that they have. And what they wanted to do is, they're moving so fast that you don't really have you're not going to really have a say. This is just boom, it's here. And so we need to become aware of that. We need to know how to stop it in our own lives and, in our community.
That's basically the subject of what we're going to be talking about on Thursday, again, October 23rd at noon Eastern, is what you can do to stop it. They're building a digital prison around us. They're geofencing us in. That's really important for everybody to understand, that slavery is one of the oldest businesses in the world, that it wasn't just the slaves brought over from Africa, but there's been slavery going on. There's slavery going on right now. There's been slavery throughout the history of humanity. And the people at the very top love slavery. They're parasites, right? They love control. They love basically telling you what to do. So, Eric, what are your thoughts about what we can do about this? Let's give people a little bit of a teaser of some of the ideas that we're going to get into on Thursday.
Absolutely. Well, when people ask me, the first thing they can do, the low hanging fruit, is do an assessment of everything that you own. How many smart devices do you own? Do you have Roombas? Do you have a smart fridge? Any of these things, and ask yourself, do I really need this? Because people have been trained to wait in line for the newest iPhone, when, what's the difference between them, really? They love their smart devices, and they're Trojan horses. They're designed smart. Smart means two things: it's to surveil you, and then it's to control you. It can collect as much data as it wants. It will create a profile on you, and then it's got a shut off switch. So you have a smart car, it's fully electric, it's fully whatever, it's computer driven. They can shut that off. You can't drive anymore. And that's a very dangerous thing.
That makes a lot of sense, right? If they're able to geofence us, they'll be able to say, hey, your smart car can't cross this line. And suddenly we lose our freedoms right there. This is something that's very near and dear to the folks in Eastern Europe, because it wasn't that long ago when they were fenced in and couldn't cross over into the West. And so it's just amazing how these parasites just keep coming at us with every little trick in the book. And this is their latest trick. Let's throw it back to you, Glenn. So let's talk about some of the content on October 23rd. Maybe give us a table of content, some of the things we're going to run down.
Yes. So first of all, what we talk about is we want to really put the whole picture into focus. And so we're going to really talk about what's really going on. And we have that done in a very concise way. And this is so that you can understand it, but also you could share the webinar with other people so that they can understand it. Then what we do is we go through some quick steps that you can take right now to get private and secure. And they're simple things, but they're very effective things that you can do. And so we'll go through that, and then we'll talk about next steps that you can take, and we'll go into a Q&A session also. So ask anything that you want, and I'll just answer all of your questions about privacy and surveillance and what you can do and any question you have.
By the way, this is a free webinar for everybody. Please join us noon, October 23rd. That's a Thursday. You can join from anywhere in the world. Now, Eric, we have, seen that what's happening is basically all distractions, the Epstein files, whatever it looks like. But ultimately, what's happening behind the scenes is this idea that they're going to get all our data, predict our movements, predict when we're a threat to them, and basically cut us off at the pass. How does AI fit into all this?
Absolutely. I mean, I think this is why AI was invented, really. You look at it, it's not to make photos of cats eating spaghetti or anything like that. It is designed because, like I said earlier, they created this extreme net of smart devices. You have Alexas, you have the iPhones. Everywhere is you're being spied on. But it's not like they have an NSA room with a million agents taking notes, you know? They were able to collect a ridiculous amount of data, and now they needed to find a way to analyze that data, to profile that data, and ultimately the third step will come is how can you judge with that data? And it'll get to a point where you know humans are not omniscient, but AI is so close to it where they're saying, yeah, we're not going to have human judges, we'll have AI judge you constantly. You can appeal to AI, and AI will be the backbone for control, for profile, for analyzing, and it already is in place in a lot of aspects.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to try to replace pretty much anything they can with AI, and who controls the AI is going to control the world. Maybe you could talk on that a little bit, Glenn, of like what this AI dominance that we're seeing, right? That, who controls AI is going to control the world. Who leads that race? Who are the players in all this?
Well, I mean, okay. So there's a lot of different layers to the onion here, right? So we've got if you've got a computer right now that is a Windows computer or Apple computer, let's just use Windows as an example. Your Windows computer right now, if you've got Copilot on it, which all Windows computers do, Copilot takes a screenshot of your screen every second, and then that is stored and recorded. And then what you have is the you have an AI that lives on your computer. And this is again what Copilot is. This AI is analyzing what it sees on that screenshot, and it understands what it sees. So it can see, okay, you've got, I've got Star Wars pictures in the background. It can see all that stuff and it can understand that. And it can see what I'm seeing on this, what I'm looking at on the screen. It can see who I'm talking to, all of these things. And like I said, it understands that whole picture. So that's one level. So you've got big tech, and then you've got the latest FISA rulings that say this was early last year, where it says that the NSA has the authority to go to any country, any company, and force them to use their platform to spy on their users. So the NSA can force Microsoft and Apple to let them use their platforms to spy on us. The but the other part of the FISA rulings is the companies can't tell you that the NSA has forced them to do this. So this is all of this stuff is being operated on a very high level. We've got definitely the spy agencies, the NSA, CIA, all of this stuff. But then who's at the top? Who's at the top of that? We don't we don't really know who that is. We know there are psychopaths. We know that the people putting together the digital IDs are doing this for a purpose, and the purpose is to control us, control humanity. And that's what they're programming AI for. So, yeah, we have to protect ourselves against that stuff.
So that's what we're going to talk about on our webinar. It's going to be really interesting, everybody. I encourage you to sign up for this free webinar. This is the issue of our times. If we've been seeing whatever the headline is, it ultimately, as Glenn said earlier, it's just a distraction away from the digital prison that they're looking to enroll us all within. And you can see it rolling out right now in the UK, where they've arrested something like 12,000 people for social media posts this year. That is absolutely on the level of Soviet. I
Yeah.
mean, we're going back to like Stalinism. And then on top of that, you got the digital IDs being rolled out. Eric, what are your thoughts on like where this goes next? We got the digital IDs today. I mean, they tried the vaccine passports, then it went to digital ID. They just changed the name. What's the next thing they're going to roll out as soon as they get the digital IDs in?
Well, once they have the framework set, it could be a flip of the switch overnight. I mean, they could just do mass censorship, mass fines. They could tie it into the CBDC. They could freeze bank accounts. I mean, we saw in Vietnam that they deleted over 86 million bank accounts of people who refused digital ID. It's unbelievable. And so I could see them heading that direction. And then if you look at America, I think will put up a bigger fight. Like in the UK, they've used the punishment. They've used the stick. They've gone very fast within. In the US, I don't think they would handle that. And I think that the people in power know that. And I think what they're going to do is more of a carrot approach. I think it could be something even like, I mean, there's a lot of signs pointing to there could be a crash of the dollar. And so maybe the dollar crashes and then Trump says, okay, I'm going to release a stable coin that's backed by gold. And if you sign up for a digital ID, you'll get universal income for like 3 months, 4 months. And then, people will feel that pressure and it'll be just a carrot instead of a stick, and I think that would work more effectively, honestly.
But it's
Interesting.
still it's still a golden chain, a golden handcuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be the underlying theme here is that it's about slavery. It's about the government telling us what to do. Now we see a similar situation in China, right? China has a very interesting history. I think that somebody's phone's ringing.
Yeah, I don't understand. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry about this.
All right. Anyway, China has an interesting history with all of this. They seem to be much further along with their digital prison, but they also have a different kind of culture. They're more unified as a culture. I've heard people who are dissidents in China, who were sent to gulags for 20 years come back and they basically feel like it was their duty to serve that time, in a way that Westerners don't really think about it that way, right? We think about it as this is a last ditch fight for our individual freedom, whereas China thinks about it more as in a group thinking. So they've tested it in China. We've seen that, and that's probably the model they're going with. Is that right?
Yeah, we've talked about this for a while too, because you're exactly right. The culture in China is different than it is here. We would never accept their thing of you got to be a better citizen. So what they're doing here in America and in the West is a different approach where they're going more for the idealistic excuse me, the greater good argument. So we've got to protect the environment. This is why we're going to implement carbon credit scores, because if we don't, there's this imminent destruction of the planet and we've got to control that. So they're going to give us like a carbon credit score each. Then there's going to be this whole the what they call hate crime speech, and just depends on what they define as hate crime. And this is what we're getting in the UK now. And so they're taking it from a different approach, but it's the same thing, but it's just packaged differently.
Yeah, and if you look at communist China, the social credit system is really an evolution of Mao's identity politics. Um, and communism spread to China and Russia because they were feudal societies. They were starving, they had awful lives, and they were clinging to anything. But in the West, we had capitalism, we had the free market, we had freedom in ways that they never experienced. Like the oldest people in China grew up in communism. That's all that they know. And so in a free society, people have seen this influence and they reject it completely. But that is why in a free market, the goal is to serve. And that also fosters some more empathy. And that's what allows for these greater good arguments to kind of attack the empathy as a weak point.
It's a weaponized compassion. That seems to be
Exactly.
common. That's like the backbone of socialism is like weaponized compassion, but then socialism quickly evolves or devolves into, eventually communism and totalitarianism and then eventually Stalinism. It seems like we're almost at the level of Stalinism right now. Now, we're going to get into all the things that you can do individually, everybody, to protect yourself. That's what's happening on Thursday, again, October 23rd at noon. And we encourage you to be on that live webinar. It's a free webinar, and we're going to get into all the things that Glenn and Eric teach at their Privacy Academy. Very, very important. Again, this has been what they've been distracting us away from. Any final things you guys have to say about all this?
Yeah, I would like to say that ultimately I'm optimistic. I do want to. I mean, what we talked about here is pretty scary stuff, but I don't think we should become black pilled and feel hopeless about this because ultimately, I do believe that we the people are still in charge. We the people can pull together and stop this, but that that we're going to stop this is not a given. I am optimistic. I think we will, but it's not a given. And there's a reason that they're moving so quickly on this because they want to move. They want to move quickly before we can get our thoughts together and really kind of organize around this. So they're moving very quickly. So, but I do think we're going to stand up for liberty. I think we're going to fight back on this, and I think we can win this. But this people have to realize that we must learn about this. The first starting point is we have to become aware of this. Then we have to get our house in order, our own house in order. Then we have to share, and then there's a couple other steps that I'll go through in the webinar too.
Fantastic. What are your thoughts, Eric?
Absolutely. I'm in the same boat. I feel hopeful. Um, and I think part of that reason is because we're doing something about it. And if you're watching this and you feel blackpilled, it might be that you're just consuming and you're not doing anything about it. Like the other day we went to a local meeting and we're talking about everything that I see online. And when I read it, I'm just sitting down, I'm reading it, it's depressing. But when I'm talking in person with other people and we're making plans, it's exciting. I feel excited about the future. And so if you're feeling, blackpilled, I think it's just a call to action to make a change.
I agree with both of you. I think that there's enormous opportunities going back to, let's say, normal refrigerators that are not Wi-Fi connected, moving completely away from smart devices.
Yep.
There's a whole world of economy and commerce there sitting and waiting for us. Like, for example, I will not use a computerized car. I still use my old vehicle, 25 years old. It's very important to go back to actual intelligence instead of artificial intelligence. Okay, everybody. So
Good point.
it's going to be Glenn and Eric leading us on that webinar coming up here noon Eastern time. That's United States Eastern time. And we're going to be digging in deep onto how to protect your devices, your privacy, and to making sure that you are in position to thrive in the future. All right, everybody. Have the best day ever. We'll see you on the webinar. Cheers.